Hey guys, what's up? It's Zyphon here. Today I'm going to be showing off the Bubonico. Now, this is a weapon that I originally didn't use much because I sort of figured that the whole arm cannon category of weapon were kind of just like whatever. But the Bubonico is honestly like a really good, I don't want to say all around weapon, but it is good for doing a lot of different things, you know? So it's pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the builds that I'm running. So the first build that I'm rocking is a corrosive plus electric build. Now this build is going to send out a lot of corrosive procs and a lot of electric procs and just deal a lot of damage that way. So the Bubonico is classed as a shotgun. We're able to rock shotgun mods and use arcanes for shotguns and stuff like that to get a lot of potential out of them. So Galvanized Hell for multi-shot, Galvanized Savvy for the status chance on kill and extra damage, Prime Cleanse mod to deal bonus damage to enemies. I'm going to go ahead and swap out to Prime Cleanse Corrupted. Shotgun Spaz for fire rate. Now you could swap that out for like literally any other shotgun fire rate mod in the game if you wanted to, but Shotgun Spaz is good because it's got like a nice bonus on it. Critical Deceleration, if I can speak English, for critical chance. Negative fire rate. Shotgun Spaz counteracts that. Prime Ravage for the crit damage. 100 munitions for slash procs, and Prime Charge Shell for the electric. Galvanized Acceleration is on here for, you know, extra projectile flight speed and stuff like that. And then we have Vigilante Supplies. Could overtake that slot if you really wanted to, but the Vigilant of you would have noticed that this doesn't actually have like reserve ammo, right? It just regens over time, which is quite nice. So that sort of eliminates the need for vigilante supplies. The only real reason you would rock it is for the enhanced crit bonus, right? So without any buffs, let's go ahead and take a look at the Bubonico's damage with this build that I'm rocking. So pretty quick. I've actually got Arcane Tempo on here for the bonus fire rate, but you can see that we deal a corrosive proc, slash procs, all the above, and we deal a ton of damage just with the left click. Now this actually has an alt fire as well. You go ahead, alt fire, you see the electric procs, the viral procs, and then you can go ahead and use the left click to finish them off, right? So because we're able to proc viral quite easily with that alt fire there, we can also make a primer build for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and spam the alt fire just so you guys can see like the amount of damage it deals sort of as like an AoE weapon, I guess you could say. It's not some crazy damage, but it definitely shreds, you know? So this is with enemies if you've got armor on, right? So if you were to strip their armor in some way, shape, or form, let's say you used Seeking Shuriken or something, Shattering Impact, you know, this would kill even faster. But let's go ahead and move on to the viral primer build. So this is just to apply viral on the enemies and then use the likes of a melee weapon to finish off the bad guys, right? So the melee build that I'm rocking looks a little bit like this. There you go. Standard melee builds. And here, of course, Frigid Blast for cold, Toxic Barrage for viral, Shotgun Savvy for the status chance, Nano Applicator for more status chance whenever we cast an ability, Lingering Torment, status duration, Galvanized Hell for multi-shot, Shotgun Spaz for fire rate, and then Vigilante Armaments for even more multi-shot. Now, Nano Applicator, 90% status chance. It's got a lot of like conditions that have to be met, right? So the ability cast and the aiming. So you could swap this out for like literally anything else if you wanted to, but it's totally down to you. Primary Dexterity, pretty important because of the extended combo duration if you're going to be using melee. This is basically just another primer. Of course, there are better primers out there like the Bubonico, etc. But if you're doing something crazy and you need to have a primary primer, then this would be your go-to, right? So you just go ahead and use your middle mouse button to apply all the procs like that, and then you can use your left click, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. You just proc that way. Pretty nice. You get your 10 viral quite quickly, and that allows you to deal a ton of damage with your slash procs and the swords, of course. So back to my primary. I'm not the biggest fan of primary primers, to be totally honest with you. I don't really see the point, but it's a build that exists if you want to try it out for whatever reason. Moving on, we have a anti-corpus build, which is more or less the same, except we're running mainly toxin on here. So whenever I say it's the same as the corrosive and electric one, but it's mainly toxin damage, right? So we spawn in some Corpus Tech enemies. Corpus Tech, like so. Very nice. We go ahead and use our middle mouse button, and we can use our left click, like so. And they die really dang fast. So there's probably like more threatening Corpus enemies out there, which you could spawn in to test out against, but you know, most Corpus enemies, they just die super fast anyway. But that is pretty much it. So the only other thing I could really show you is this with my, what's it called? My weapon platform Saren, right? So I hold my 1 for my corrosive buff. I press my 3 for my toxin, and then I press my 4 for my roar, which is basically like game mod buff, if that makes any sense. Those are the wrong enemies. But kill them. Spawn in the heavy gutters. You'll see like this thing just melts with all the buffs active, right? It's crazy how fast it kills. So here we go. One tap. One tap. Bye-bye. Literal cookie clicker. Cookie clicker weapon. Crazy damage. Insane. Bye-bye. So you could take this into a level cap run pretty easy peasy, because of like the different damage types that it deals, the fact that it has like the AoE alt fire and stuff like that. You could just melt Demolist. It's got infinite ammo, all that they're good stuff. It's just all around a really nice weapon, right? Like the only other crazy thing that you could maybe do with it is like if you went with Mirage Eclipse, for example, right? So I spotted these guys. Do this, do this. 596% Eclipse buff right there. Of course, I'm not like super up close to them here, so they've got the damage fall off. But if you were to be super up close, trying to get the buff, trying to get the buff in this area is pretty difficult, to be honest. Maybe I can't really show it off, but either way, let's show off the alt fire. Just spam it like that. See all the procs that we have there. Very nice. Build up my merciless, and now we're able to like kill them from afar, right? So it's a shotgun, you have to be up in their face, but I'm still able to kill them pretty quickly whenever I have my merciless stacks from a distance with Eclipse active, so that's pretty nice. And then I guess the last thing I can kind of show is Ash. You can shuriken Eclipse. This one's gonna be a lot easier to demonstrate because of the smoke screen carrying the Eclipse buff, right? So what we do is we cast Eclipse and the light, go invisible, spawn in the enemies, strip away the enemy armor like that, and dodge. Well, should be dodge. There you go, dodge. One taps again. Quite nice, right? So it's just a pretty insane weapon. If you want to go ahead and pick it up, then it's definitely solid. The only downside to it is that it's a pretty like hefty investment, right? So I had to format all of the slots on my Bubonico to fit these builds on, if that makes sense. So literally every single slot has a polarity. Whenever you compare that to the likes of a Kuva weapon, right? So you do have to invest format into a Kuva weapon, but it's definitely less, and you get the extra capacity anyway, so there's more flexibility whenever it comes to your builds and stuff like that. So it's a pretty hefty investment, but it is definitely a worthwhile one if you want a arm cannon shotgun which melts and essentially has infinite ammo, you know. So it is a good weapon. Just know that you're going to be investing a lot of resources and time into getting it to the point of like level cap viable, if that makes sense. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. Like it if you liked it, subscribe for more Warframe content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.